What's up, everyone? How's it going? Welcome. Welcome to a late night stream. Well, relatively late night anyhow. What's up, Rhythm Kitty, King Von Alice, E. Halleck, Ham Trigger, and Hyperdimensional. Nice to hear you, Halleck. Yep, the next character is Formicid Earth Elementalist. That'll be uploading. Should be uploading that tonight, and it should start tomorrow. Yeah, Hyperdimensional, not sure. I've been trying to stream earlier. Let me just check a couple of things in OBS. Okay, looks good. Been trying to stream earlier, but been a little bit intermittent. It usually happens. It's hard to keep a regular stream schedule for me. But yeah, I do like to usually, if I can, stream earlier in the afternoon. It works out, but these last couple weeks it hasn't worked out like that. So since I haven't done a stream in, I think, over a week now, I figured might as well just do a late night one. Might only be 3 hours or so, but good to keep progress going. Yeah, this is last character we need for greateroneandwon is Deep Elf. We already have Conjurer, but we still haven't 1-in-1 a Deep Elf yet. And so, since I haven't played Conjurer before, this character almost died on D1. They had a kind of a nasty starting vault, and I made a small but significant error, but he luckily did not die. Juggernauts are, you must not have played in some time. Juggernauts are, I think, 0.19 maybe even 0.18, I forget. They've been in for a few versions now. This is Trunk. This is 0.22 alpha. Just most recent change I made to Trunk was, there are others making other changes, but the most recent change that I made was giving Swamp Worms and Iron Giant a new attack. I think you can actually look it up here. Actually, first, let's look up monsters. Swamp Worm. Can you look up the spells? Yeah, you can. So I didn't change any of the other stats of Swamp Worms, but I gave them this new ability called Harpoon Shot. Fires a long and flexible barbed mass. The ensnared victim will either be pulled adjacent to the caster. Probably should replace the word caster with something more generic, because I mean, it's magical, I guess. You know, like a lot of monsters in Crawl have attacks that are like natural abilities, but they're really magical, because how else would you really explain them in any way? I mean, you could try to say that there's some kind of natural phenomenon, but yeah, what it does is it hits you for not too much damage, like it's a 2d13, about equivalent, or it's actually the same damage as a Manticore Barb, but kind of like that, how that attack is more notable for its secondary effect. This one has a secondary effect where it tries to pull you adjacent to the monster using it. And if there's anything that blocks the way somehow, that would usually be something like deep water or lava. Well, most likely deep water in the case of a swamp worm. If you're not flying, if you are flying, then probably nothing. Yeah, it is kind of like the scorpion attack. It's really sort of inspired as a way to get something like what I was doing with the throw attack. That if you remember Octopode Crushers, that was the first monster to have the throw attack, and then those were removed, and that attack was moved to Iron Giants. But then I removed throw attack because I wasn't really happy with how it played. If you were trying to use melee, it was quite annoying as an attack, and it didn't succeed terribly well at what I really wanted to do, which was like reposition you in a way that was sort of interesting and less favorable. I mean, it wasn't altogether unsuccessful, but that sort of like the Looney Tunes aspect of having to refight because it would throw you and you would move back in. If you wanted to melee like an Iron Giant, which is often a mistake, but suppose you wanted to do it, if you decided to do that, it was particularly annoying. Whereas by pulling you in, you still have some similar issues with, like, if you're trying to move away from the monster, you can get repeatedly pulled, but generally it's not going to make melee bad, because if you're pulled adjacent, well, then you'll melee the monster. And you can still use spells just from melee range, and they're not too dangerous as monsters, so it's not terribly unlikely that you'll be able to do that. Even if you land in water, if you're using spells, you don't care about casting spells from water generally, so yeah, Singularity, rip. It's in exactly one version before it got removed. But yeah, those have it, and Iron Giants also have it. So if you go to Dis and talking about Zigs, although if you're in a Zig, and fighting Iron Giants, you're probably not too worried about Harpoon. Although you might be. It's a range 6, so it actually does have pretty good range. Alright, so this character is... I'm training some conj. What do I have for... I don't actually have a target for this. What's everything else looking like? About 7 fighting, 8 dodging. We'll just go for some extra conj, say 12. We're gonna do... We haven't done anything past D8 yet. We got oh, that's right, Conjure Flame. What I should do is train some fire magic. We need Veh to think about gifting us fire spells. We will definitely be going for Firestorm, so we are going to have to get some significant fire magic going here. Oh. How do we want to finish this guy off? Magic Dark, probably. I got rotted. Yeah, that's a nasty portal. It's probably more dangerous on average than most Wiz Labs, but I've been buffing Wiz Labs. So Wiz Lab, I went a little bit overboard with the Demon Wiz Lab. Actually, I had to nerf my buff because it was a little bit much. What's this again? This song? I know this song. Oh, yeah. That's where I recognized it from. Like, I recognize this. Yeah. So I'm using Mystic Blast, which is not a very good spell, but, you know, it is convenient at times. People hate on the spell a lot, and it's understandable why, but it's not, oh, this guy was decked out, man. Don't know if I would, well, eventually I might. How much ID do I have? Smoke of Fog. Smoke of Fog, Scroll of Fog. I mean, technically it was Smoke of Fog, but... Wow. Look at this, Book of Power. Veh now redundant. It does miss. I mean, that's not really my complaint about it. I mean, a lot of these spells miss pretty frequently. It's just that its damage is not amazing. I just happen to, like, I'm not that far from max spell power because, again, Deep Elf. So I guess, like, if any character is going to likely to get better mileage out of IMB, it's a Deep Elf. I even got base range extensions, so... Although, is that in effect right now? Oh, not quite. I will have it soon. But yeah, Book of Power, so now we've got... Oh, we've got Bolt of Magma. Everybody's favorite spell. Oh, but there's IMB. Big news. What all do we got? Dazzling Sway. Dazzling is kind of nice. It's a pretty good spell. It's sort of between what I would rather have. Yeah, Poisonous Vapors. Maybe not so much. Battlesphere. Battlesphere is a big increase in our damage. Yeah, Orb of Destruction is a player favorite. If you're a more experienced player, you may not be such a fan of that spell. Wow, this is but because it's a weird spell that has a lot of limitations, and in many ways, something like Iron Shot is a superior spell, but how do we? Well, I can probably. What's our approach over here? All that stuff way over there, and just this direction. I'm gonna resist the urge to try to do something stupid like shout, because usually it's less good than it seems. Oh, where did you? I was like, where did you go, Mr. Okay, that might buy us some extra time, but she's gonna, yeah, she wasn't really entirely unnecessary. And I just complained about, like, you know, maybe making too much noise. Oh, there we go. We got this going down. Ooh, and a halberd user. Well, there's a cheap way to get out of this. That is with, well, there would be if okay, there we go. Conjure Flame. Ah, yes, that's right, he's gonna walk into it. Ooh, I like where this is going. I mean, I can cast Searing Ray, but, you know, I think I'll poke a bit and let this guy kill himself in a... Yeah, he's almost dead. There he goes. So we got our fire magic trained up. We got... What else do we want to get? Orb of yeah, it's non-resistible conjuration, Ehalic. So any pure conjuration spell, generally, if it does damage, it's going to do completely non-resistible. So that's a lot of spells: Magic Dart, Searing Ray, Mystic Blast, Battle Spheres damage, Fulminant Prism, Dazzling Spray, Orb of Destruction, Force Lance. That's most of the ones. But yep, it's a spell that people like because it does a ton of damage, but it's only single school, so it's relatively easy to get castable for a spell that does damage like that. Yeah, and you don't need to worry about monsters resisting it, but what you do need to worry about is things like the rules for how it moves and how it can miss monsters. Also, monsters with shields can easily block it. And it behaves sort of oddly at longer range. It does less damage. It can be unpredictable. So it has a bunch of weird rules associated with it, but yeah, it's a pretty popular spell for sure. Definitely the most popular, like, you know, spells with aspect. Well, the problem with Singularity had a bunch of it does less damage at like point blank range, but it also does less damage at sufficiently long range. There's like an ideal position from where it does good damage. Problem with Singularity was in some ways it was very similar to Firestorm in terms of what it allowed you to do, with just, you know, some aspects that were certainly different, but the other issue is just that it's trying to turn translocations into a damage school, which Crawl doesn't really need more schools that are about doing a lot of damage. Translocations is supposed to be mostly about things about like moving the player and escape and stuff like that. Well, I wouldn't characterize it as insanely good. I would say it's a usable spell for sure. It is not in my list of insanely good spells. Oftentimes there are better spells you can use, but it is something that people enjoy using, and it can definitely kill anything in the 3-rune game when used properly. There's a good tier list. I haven't made my own, but there's I don't know if Minmay's spell guide, that's a really good read actually. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know if it's actually in the Learn DB or not. Actually, I guess I don't have it on this profile for some. If anybody else has that link, they can paste it. It's not that thread that's referenced. Yeah, Minmay made a spell guide that sort of talks about, although that link does list the spells by broken set. So if you want to list, actually, that's actually the right link. There's a tier list for spells that she makes. But then in a different post, she talks about what each spell is and all the details, and it gives a lot more reasoning as to the idiosyncrasies of some spells. So that's a good read. What are we training up here? What do I feel like training? Oh, there's a question of whether I was going to go for some of the other cloud spells I found. We'll have to see. It's kind of just bad to train fire magic because the only fire spell I do have is Conjure Flame. I guess... Yeah, I don't really want to go overboard though, it's really bad. I could benefit a lot more from things like fighting and dodging if I... Well, okay, so we got this. We'll do the Conj 12 business. Here it is, IMB. We have remove curse, we do. MR robe, hello. So you can just, this is the way you see, ooh, stone arrow, huh? Do I want, I don't really want to train earth too much. Eventually I will probably train earth for iron shot, but I don't really have any particular need for stone arrow, I would say. Oh, this key. Oh, that's why I'm getting so much spell hunger. I'm casting Battle Sphere, which is probably pretty high actually. Well, I don't worship Sif every run. As anybody who looks at my list of recent wins will see that I do have a Sif win, but I have a recent Vehumet win and Ellie and all sorts of gods. I think where Free Kill is perhaps confused is that some people actually win games of Crawl. And he's unfamiliar with this concept. Win a game of Crawl, Free Kill says? Why would I do that when I could be listening to Secret of Mana drums? You know, this feels like I might use a cloud. No, I guess I don't really need to use a cloud here. On the other hand... Oh, well, that's not quite what we wanted, I guess. Okay, the confusion made this sort of an interesting kind of thing here. Yeah, not sure why I didn't go Che. Hey, what's up, J Boons and Mr. Plank? Oh, clever. So what you do is you wait. Clever bee. Waits behind the corner. There we go, now we got the range increase. It's a good Conjure Flame moment right here. There's that skull. How good Searing Ray will be in this particular situation. Pretty good, actually. All full of yaks, taken out. I could have cast Bolt of Magma, but I used a level 2 spell instead. Knowledge of Fireball. Okay, now the only issue with this is that I... Is there any... That could be a problem. I would like to get that Fireball. Yeah, this is the Vehumet with Faith issue, is that you can miss spells. I should have realized that when I amnesia'd and memorized. Because I had Battle Sphere, but at the same time there's not a lot I can do about it. That's alright though. We'll live. We found the entrance to Orc. Oh. Yeah, I could do that. The question is whether I want to do that. I'll think about it. Problem is, the other issue is that like I don't really know when I'm going to find my next amnesia scroll. I mean, it could be a long time. Although I could train spellcasting. How many levels do we need? 1, I need 4, so I'd need to get 2 levels now. It's pretty doable. Yeah, we can try that. Oh man, that was a big decrease. That was a little bit less piety. What is this? Well, it's not a cappella. Aha. Well, probably got confused. Alright. We're gonna have to cut off this. There we go. We got rid of him. That's a little bit sketchy to do stuff like that, but it's fine. Surprised he didn't get meffed. Maybe he did, and he just hit me with confusion. Because those don't have our poison. Yeah, I think this Vehumet takeoff faith play, I might not have done that. In retrospect, would have been fine just to turn on spellcasting immediately, and I would have had enough levels. I've already got 2 of the ones I need, and I'm gonna level up really fast. That's all right. Wow, Conjure Flame lasted a long time. 5 enchant armor. It's just a hound. I don't know what I'm doing here. So I guess this is work entry. Did we not find it before? I guess we did not. I think this is that one spooky orc entrance. This is, normally I would just say a robe. I would almost certainly be ascending in a robe with this kind of character. But I am going into extended, so I might end up with some actual AC. Apparently you cannot target yourself. So that could be, it could be like fire dragon scales, something like that. It's not going to matter too much. It'll just be relatively light so that I don't have to deal with crazy encumbrance. Nice. We're losing that piety. I don't have to worry about him taking away that offer. Oh, we got it back. Phew. Getting flanked. As you can see, there's 1 or 2 zombies in this vault. If you didn't notice that the theme of the vault is zombies, Maybe you weren't paying attention. Jeez. I think there's actually a couple undead themed orc vaults. There's one that's like more of a cave. I'm not sure which way to interpret that, Mr. Plank. I guess you mean that this is a fun combo. You could take that statement either way, I guess.